Welcome back, everybody, to Austin AF. If you guys missed my first episode, make sure to check back. Last week, I had my mom on Austin AF, and it meant a lot to have her on my first ever talk show. So if you guys are just tuning in, make sure to check that out. We talked a lot about family, a lot about how she raised us, and dating life as well, and what it was like when she first started dating my dad, which was absolutely hilarious. So in today's episode, I am interviewing one of my really good friends, Carissa Stanton, and I'm so excited because she is absolute food goals. If you guys don't already follow Broccyourbody on Instagram, you probably recognize the name Broccyourbody because her recipes have gone absolute viral, especially her crunch wrap recipe. What I love about Carissa is that she is very, very well balanced, meaning she can, like me, eat a cheeseburger and then also try to healthify it or eat something healthy the next day. And we really bond over the fact that we both love tequila and then a good workout as well. So that is why I became really good friends with her, and I'm so excited for you guys to learn a little bit more beyond her recipes in this episode and dig a little deeper. Whenever I say dig a little deeper or deep dive, I always have trouble with the D's because something else is trying to come out of my mouth. Anyways, so this Katie's Daily 2 minutes right here. It's a funny, weird topic that I wanted to talk about because when I came in the studio today, we were talking about one of my producer's friends who actually started an OnlyFans for her feet. Yeah. I'll let you just let that sink in right there. And I was thinking, as she's telling me this story, as she said that she made $77,000 in 1 month off of basic toe photos, like not even her calves, 77,000 in 1 month. I just was thinking, wow, I do have a Wiki Feet page that gets it gets hella likes though, and a lot of subscribers. And let me tell you, I have loyal feet subscribers, and I think I could really make that 77,000 in 1 month. You guys, it's not weird if you are only posting your feet, right? Just kidding. Mom and Dad, you're really listening to this right now and you're probably cringing and you're on the edge of your toes because don't worry, I would never actually do that. It's just absolutely insane how you can post your feet and people are obsessed with it. It still wears me out, but I am, I don't know if thankful is the right word for my loyal feet following, but thank you so much for your support. Appreciate you guys. Anyways, I'm not starting the feet business, but I am talking a lot in this episode about starting a business online, not OnlyFans. So we are going to be talking a lot about if you guys want to get in the social media space, which I think was the number one question that people are asking both Carissa and I, if they are, in the sense of trying to be an influencer, quit their 9 to 5. And I think that's something that's so interesting about Carissa is that she actually quit her 9 to 5 only a year ago. And she is making a lot of money in the social media business and crushing it with her blog and Instagram. So she's very inspiring in that sense. So I'm definitely going to ask her how exactly she did that and how to make it to get to that next level as well. Then we are also talking a lot about dating because Carissa and I are very similar-ish in our dating experiences. We both had a very long-term one. We both felt committed but settling as well. So I want to really talk to her about, moving on from a long-term relationship, being single, especially during this last year because we both experienced that. So I'm really excited to talk to her about that as well. So because Carissa can never turn down a cocktail, I have her favorite cocktail, a cilantro spicy margarita, waiting for her right here. So when she comes in this room and studio, I am going to have her make it for us and hopefully get a little loosened up. Maybe she can tell us some dirty secrets and let's get to it. So yesterday I asked you before you came in my studio what kind of cocktail you want to make, and you told me this one.
This one's my favorite. I love cilantro in a drink. You like cilantro, right?
I love cilantro, but I'm going to be honest, I've never had it in a cocktail before.
It's so good. It's just like a nice little fresh spin on it. And I'm not like a super sweet person, and I don't think you are either.
Hate sweet things.
So it's gives it a nice little savory spin.
Ooh, love
I feel like you're really gonna like it.
Okay, let's make it. I'm so excited.
Am I making it or are you gonna make it for me?
Well, you are Broccyourbody, so you should make it for me. No, I'm kidding.
So you're gonna want to do I feel like we can handle
4 shots of tequila?
We can handle a good amount of tequila.
Oh.
So I feel like we should do
You know that girls 1 or 2 shots? Glug, 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 glug. Is that
I
a
feel like
lie?
a little bit more.
Carissa, it is
I
2
feel like-
p.m. I love
Don't,
how you
no one
think.
has to know what time it is.
You're so bad.
Katie's like, we're gonna have a drink tomorrow if that's okay. And I was like, if I ever turn down a drink, like, you need to call 911. Like, I will
Same.
never turn down a cocktail.
Same, especially this past year, my tolerance has gone up so high. I have like 3 margaritas. I'm like, wait, why don't I feel that much
You're
anymore?
like, there wasn't alcohol in this. You guys lied to me.
Except that's a lie because we did go out to lunch like 4 days ago at a 1 p.m. lunch on a weekday. And I was like, yeah, I'll order 1 margarita. Next thing you know.
Yeah, no one even said anything to you. Like, you were like, I'm gonna have 1 drink.
Yeah.
And we were like,
everyone's
cool.
gonna judge. And on a weekday at 1 p.m., no one's judging, Katie. And Chris was like, have another. And I'm like, should I? Okay. Next thing you know, like 7 cocktails deep. I come home, my boyfriend's like, I knew that wasn't just a fucking lunch.
I know.
Like-
I honestly, like, girls, I feel like their boyfriends don't like them hanging out with me because I feel like I'm always trouble. Like, I'm always, like, they always come back, like, not okay.
I like that though.
Yeah.
Okay, how much simple syrup?
Literally the tiniest. Yes.
No, you're lying.
Swear to God.
That's all you need?
Yeah. This
Okay.
is like sugar.
Sugar water?
But it's, we need just like a tiny bit of sweetener,
Okay.
but not a lot. That's
And then I've learned this trick about limes. You probably
Roll it
obviously know
out.
this. You just roll it out a little bit.
Wait, have you ever seen that thing though, like on TikTok where they stab it and then they squeeze it like this?
No, please. Enlighten me.
But I think we need a skewer, so we don't have that.
Oh, you can't
But
do this?
yeah, try that.
So you stab the lime. That's an arm workout.
I feel
All right,
like it's like,
It's you have to have a very ripe lime.
yeah. This one's pretty good. This one's pretty juicy.
Okay.
So we'll do 2 limes
Amazing.
and then some cilantro and
Be careful of your eyes.
that's it.
Amazing. So easy, so simple.
So
Let's see if it
easy.
actually tastes good.
So like my drink of choice is a tequila gimlet. Have you ever had that?
Chris, I've never even heard of the word gimlet before you came on here about 5 minutes ago, so my answer is no.
You don't have the proper glasses for a gimlet? I wasn't gonna say anything.
My producer on the show, excuse me, no proper glasses. She's looking at me like she's doing wrong. I'm kidding.
You need martini glasses?
Yeah.
That's like
Oh my God, they have them.
Oh my god, we have martini glasses?
Second drawer.
Just kidding, everybody.
Oh, phenomenal. So wait, so now we can pour all the ice in here.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Hell yeah. Oh, we forgot the water.
So this is basically like a traditional tequila gimlet, except I added cilantro.
Right, shake it. You got it. Shake it, baby, shake it. Wow, she's fancy. All right, well, cheers. Welcome to Austin AF. Today, the AF, I don't know, but today, the AF stands for Austin and Friends because you're my friend.
Oh my gosh.
So welcome.
Cute. Thank you. I don't know if that was like an actual.
No. Why do I already feel drunk right now and I haven't even had a sip? Let me taste it.
Phenomenal.
Wow.
Isn't that good?
That is really, really good. It is perfectly chilled. I taste the cilantro, but only enough
really.
that you like need to taste it.
It's so good.
It's really,
it's
really
like-
good.
It's better. It's like a little classier than a margarita.
I completely agree. I do need to feel a little bit more adult sometimes
Yes.
because I am in my later 20s now. So a martini's
am
great.
I.
Yes. All right. Shall we get into conversations with Katie?
Let's do it.
All right, you guys, as we are sipping these cilantro gimlets and me realizing I do have a live workout in about an hour and a half,
Oh my God.
I'm like, well, I might be a little drunk for this full body sculpt, but you did just come from an Amazon Live, so I
did.
appreciate you being here.
Thank
I
you.
just wanted to first start out and say I am so proud of you because you went from basically having a 9-to-5 real estate job, right?
A year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it is so crazy how you built this food empire and your amazing recipe blog and a huge following online in such a short amount of time. You really don't hear that. And
Yeah.
how did that all go about? The transition? How'd you get started? Let's jump right
Totally.
into it.
Let's dive in. So it's funny because it all worked out so perfectly. I think the reason why I did gain such a big following so quickly was because I did have a 9-to-5 job and I was doing my Instagram like just on the side, like after work type of thing. So like my recipes weren't like, I don't know if you follow any other bloggers where it's like, that's their job is to cook. So their recipes are like, they don't care if they dirty 1,000 dishes. They have people helping them out or they have all day to make a recipe. For me, I was like, I have 45 minutes to make a recipe for my blog, and I don't want to clean up any dishes. Like,
Wow.
I'm like exhausted.
Yeah.
So people really related to that, and I feel like I've still kind of held on to that like quick and easy, like I'm not a chef. I'm not sitting here. I don't have people working for me that are doing my dishes and doing my grocery shopping and like all of that.
Totally.
So I think that really helped me get my start. And I get the question all the time, like, I want to start a, fitness or food Instagram or blog. How did you get started? And I don't understand that question because I just started posting. Like, I just started posting my recipes on Instagram. So like, that's what I always say. I'm like, I just
do it.
Just do it. Like, there's nothing special about it. Just start it.
I do think there is two things special, though.
Okay,
you were
let's hear 'em.
very consistent about it. I remember following you
Yes.
from the get-go. You posted every single day.
Mm-hmm.
You talked to the camera. And like you said, you're really real. And people really latched onto that. And they still do. All your followers know your real self, which
Yeah.
is very rare online.
Yeah.
And so I think they loved the fact that you did have a 9-to-5 and you showed that aspect of your life.
Yeah.
And secondly, your passion for it. So you
Totally.
obviously, I think we both get this question a lot. Like, how to get started, and I want to be a content creator. You have to love it. And I think you
For sure.
wholeheartedly love it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I always say when I first started my blog, like, my goal, like, when I started it was I never expected it to be, like, my career. My main goal was I wanted, like, a PR package from Vital Proteins.
Oh my
or
God.
Like,
and now you're getting like an amazing deal, a brand deal, making so
Totally.
much
I
money
mean,
with those type of brands you never
100%.
thought.
But I think a lot of people go into it being like, I want to be an influencer. I want to make money. I want to have this lifestyle, which I don't blame them. I'm not saying it's bad. I understand it. But I think that you have to want to do it just because you want to help people. You want to share something that you're passionate about. And I think that's kind of like how you really get your start. And like, obviously, like, that wasn't my main goal to get a PR package, but I thought that would be like, how am I going to know when I've made it?
Right.
And I was, in my brain was 10,000 followers. And
Which is a lot in your mind back then.
Well, that was my end goal.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
once I hit 10,000, I'm chilling. Like, so it was 10,000 followers, and it was like a PR package from like Vital Proteins or like Siete Foods. You know, the ones that they do really cool
Yes.
packages. That was just like, I was like, wow, if
Like,
I
I've
get
made it.
that, I've made it.
And it's so crazy to talk about like I've made it because I feel like in our world there is no such thing now because you always want the next thing too. Like
Totally.
it's always the next, and it's not about followers whatsoever. It's just
No.
like what's next in my career.
Totally. And I think that's also another really important thing is like, I just hired someone onto my team, and like, we go to like we celebrate everything, like, I'm like, I just feel like it is so easy. Like right now I have other goals that I really am working towards, but I always like make sure to like stop and like look and be like, oh my God, I made this business. Like, this is insane. And like, let's go and celebrate it. You know what I
love that.
mean?
You have to celebrate those small
you
wins.
have to.
Of course. And I think going back to when you first started, the coolest part is sometimes seeing, because your food posts now are absolutely amazing, but
They were not always like that.
You post like even the 2 year ago ones. Sometimes like a TBT to when my bowl used to look like this or my salad used to look like that. And let me tell you, these photos, you'd be like, whoa, how'd it go from point A to point B? But like,
Totally.
that's the coolest part is you don't even think about what you're posting then because you had nothing to lose almost. You had a 9-to-5. So you were
Totally.
willing to take those risks.
Yeah, I posted the ugliest photos, and I post them because like whenever I do, I'll get messages from people that are like, this makes me feel really good. I'm like starting a food blog, and like it makes me feel good to know that like you didn't just start off knowing how to like take these photos. Like I take, me, like, I mean, I'm not trained by any means or anything. Like I just take photos with my phone, but it's like with anything, you just have to practice and keep doing it, and like eventually I'll get good at it. But yeah, I mean, I posted some stuff like, I think I don't know if I deleted it or not, but it's on, I think it might be on my Instagram. I posted a smoothie that was literally brown.
And you're like, make this smoothie. It's
You know
really appetizing.
You know how sometimes you like make a smoothie and it like just turns brown
Yeah,
because you add
totally.
like spinach and like something else or whatever.
For sure.
But like, which is fine. Just drink it and like move on with your life. Like I gave it a solo IG feed post.
Love it. I love it.
I was like, my smoothie. And I remember like like my mom or something was like, was that good?
Yeah. Are you
I was
good?
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. You should try it. Going back to the point that you just hired someone,
Yeah.
I think that this is really important for other people to know because us growing a business on our own, when is the right time to hire someone, and how do you hire someone? Because I think we actually will have a lot of listeners who are thinking about the same thing, and it's okay to ask for help, and it took me years to understand that.
Yeah. So this might be a little bit of a different answer. I should have hired someone a really long time ago.
Totally.
I was way too late to the game. I think I was just so busy that I was like, when I hire someone, I have to like train them, and I like was just like, I can't even process that. Now that I did, I'm so happy that I did it. Honestly, like, this might not be like the most typical answer, but like I have a financial advisor, and I called him and was like, let's run these numbers. I'm not the best with numbers, so I also think like it's important to like, dictate things that you're not good at to other people. So I just was like, hey, this is like who I want to hire, and I found who I hired through you.
Yes.
It just ended up working out really, really well. But I would say before, when I was thinking about hiring, I think it's tricky when you like post on your Instagram, like asking, because it's like you don't really want someone who's like
Following
a
you,
fan
totally.
or like that kind of thing. So I think it's kind of tricky to find someone who's good to hire. I'm lucky I found someone that I really clicked with as a friend quickly, and we didn't become too good of friends to now that it's like, oh, you're my really good friend and I just hired you to work for me. We had known each other for like 3 weeks. We met through you.
Yeah.
It just worked out really nicely. But yeah, I called my financial advisor up and was like, how much money can I afford? And how do I get this girl to work for me, because I need her?
Well, congrats. I mean, I think hiring someone as, being self-employed, I think that's
wild.
huge. It's wild.
I already am like, how did I live without her?
Amazing. I think that is so important to also ask for help, because it's something that we all definitely need. Okay, so we had a lot of questions about your career, but I think we covered a lot of them as your sip, because please sip up. I want to kind of transfer subjects here and come into dating, because I think the first question that I got for you was like how you got into your career and how you keep up with your blog and stuff. But at the same time, your second question was about dating.
Yes.
And you're so real on Instagram, and you let people in on your day-to-day life. And so let's let people in a little bit about your situations here.
Okay.
So, what's going on?
My dating life is really tragic.
Oh my gosh, Carissa, I would not put it that way. No, but I do want to just note that we both come from very long-term relationships. Like,
Totally.
We both didn't know how to be single until our mid-20s.
Yeah.
And that is something crazy, like a crazy experience, from going to a very, very long-term relationship to all of a sudden being single.
Totally.
But it's amazing at the same time.
It's incredible. I mean, so I was engaged. I was in a 6-year relationship, and I didn't really have anything wrong with my relationship. I actually was like, my significant other was like incredible. We're still friends. He's amazing, but I just like wasn't at the point in my life to where I wanted to settle down. And it was literally the hardest thing ever, being like, why am I in this perfect relationship and I'm not happy? Like, it was really hard for me to come to terms with that. But when I say I have all these dating stories and it's tragic and it's like all of these things are happening, like I would not trade that for anything. Like, this is what I need in my life right now. Like, I want all this to be happening, because if I found someone that I dated and I liked, like, I'd be back in my same boat where I'm like in a relationship and like unhappy.
Totally. And it can be amazing on paper. Like, your ex was absolutely amazing to you and
100%.
Supported you fully. But if you're not happy, and I think the one thing is, especially to listeners out there who are in a long-term relationship and they kind of feel like it's a very comfortability level. So they feel like, oh my God, you've been dating for so long. I don't know about you, but this is how I felt. I was dating this guy for like 5 years, and I was like, well, I don't know life beyond this, and it's scary. It's very scary. You don't know yourself, but you're kind of happy, but you're unhappy, and you don't know really what's going to happen afterwards, and you never have the right time or opportunity to break up with that person.
Yeah.
And I think like the one piece of advice is like, if not now, when? Like, when are you going to do it and be yourself? And I think like, I know your food blog was taking off, but it's taken off in this last year and a half.
Totally. And I needed to like break out. And like a piece of advice that I got that was like totally life-changing for me was, I was like telling one of my friends, I'm like, I don't know what to do, because I'm so I am happy with him and he's just so nice and he treats me so well. And she's like, nice doesn't have to mean compatible.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. Because that was my hardest part. I was like, he's so nice to me. Like, he treats me so well. And I'm like, now I'm at the point where I'm like, maybe I don't want someone who's
so
super nice to me. Like, and I don't. You know me. I'm like a freaking brat sometimes. I need somebody that's going to like put me in my place.
100%. And I also think it's like when you go through a breakup with a nice guy and there's almost nothing wrong, it's almost harder.
Oh my God, it's way harder.
It's way harder because you're like, well, shit, they've done nothing wrong and you can't find the right time to do it. And you don't even know if it's the right decision because they're so awesome.
I know. It was tough. I definitely knew it was the right decision. I like had gone through, you know, quite a few months like of being unhappy, but I like wrote something down that was like, you know, all my feelings talking about how I was unhappy. So I knew that like, you know, there were times after our breakup when I like was feeling sad and I would go back and like read those and be like, I was, you know, clearly really unhappy because you always look back and you're like, oh, we had such
all
a great
the good
relationship.
times.
When I was like in those really dark places of being unhappy, I like wrote myself notes and stuff to look back on. So I think that was something that was really helpful. But yeah, I mean, life is freaking tough, man. Like it's not easy.
You're also very, very young when you were engaged. That had just another layer of the breakup. And so I want to talk to you now about that breakup and not specifically him. We won't bring that up, but especially like how you broke it off and like how you cope with that afterwards. Because I think the number one things girls want to know right now, especially during this time, is like how do you deal with a breakup, especially after such a long-term relationship?
Yeah. Well, something I will say too, if anyone's listening to this and is like, it's definitely seemed impossible doing it. And I'm like, no one breaks up with their fiance after 6 years. Like this isn't something that just happens. And I didn't think that it was even possible. Like I thought that I had no choice but to just like stay and get married. I was like, this is my life now. Like this, I can't go back. So it's always possible and it sucks. But I think the hardest part is just like getting it over with. And then in terms of like coping with it, I'll tell you what I did that worked.
Let's hear it.
I don't know if it's the best advice, but I don't think that we're not therapists. You guys aren't. This isn't my doctor advice here. So I like went, I think like 5 days later, I got on a plane to New York and went and visited my friends and just like raged, made out with a random guy. Like
you have
just
to do that.
Went all out, kind of like removed myself from San Diego where I was living at the time. And and then got back. I did some more traveling and just kept myself so busy. Like I know that people might be like, oh, you need to deal with your emotions, but like for me, that's how I dealt with them. I kind of just kept myself busy until enough time had passed to where I could like, you know, reflect and be like, okay, what just happened? But I just like went and did whatever. I had a full rebound. Like I kind of dated a guy for like a month that like I knew I wasn't going to end up with. And we had a lot of fun together. It's obviously a tricky thing. Yeah. Like you don't want to go back in another serious relationship. I was really transparent with him. He knew everything about what I had just been through. So, I mean, those are my advice.
Stay busy.
Just stay busy and like
go out.
Get a rebound. Like
get a rebound.
I mean, it's the best.
Yeah,
like, it's the best way to do it.
I do think, and we talked about this, I think last week was it, and again, we're not therapists, but I think a huge part about a breakup is to not pity yourself. Yes. Because we've all been there, and I've stayed in my bed for like a whole freaking week crying, and then something just clicked. I'm like, everyone in the world goes through a breakup. It's the worst shitty feeling in the entire world. You're not special though, and to realize that, and that could be horrible advice. My sister's probably listening to this, and my sister's like very intuitive and like very into the feelings, and so am I, but like you can't pity yourself. You just cannot. Get out there and get going. Plus, every single person you date, my mom was on last week, she likes to call it homework.
Oh my God, I love her.
So like find out what you like about guys. Every single person you date is so important because you find out what you like and you dislike, what the red flags are to you, who you're compatible with. And I think it's so important to date, not date around obviously, but at least date a few people.
Yeah, 100%. And that's like when I was in a relationship, I'm like, I've never really like dated. And like that's where I'm at right now. And I'm going through these like hilarious things where like I have some insane stories that I'm just
Can we hear them?
I'll tell you a few. Where I'm just like, it's so fun. Like it's like
so
I'm not
fun.
like you can't stress too. Like some people might hear these things and be like, oh my God, like that's sad or like whatever. But it's like, no, it's so entertaining. Like you just like we are both similar in the way where we don't take our lives too seriously. Like, and that's the key. Like
that is the key.
You can't take life too seriously. Like I just picture like all of these people, these guys, I'm like, they're all freaking movie characters. Like none of this is real.
Because you know they're not like the one or who you want to like be 100%. With. Carissa was telling me like a funny story that happened to her over the weekend last week, and all I remember thinking was, gosh damn it, I miss being single. And I like love my boyfriend, obviously, but at the same time, there's like a part of me that was 2.5 years that I was single. I was so fully myself, did whatever the fuck I wanted. I didn't give a shit about telling someone where I was. I would book a next day flight to Miami if I wanted to and party. And I miss that.
It's great.
It's so great. And so if you are single right now, and I know we have like so many society pressures of getting older, like I'm talking to my sister recently, she's about to be 31 and she's single and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting older. And I'm like, dude, live it up. And she's finally in a stage where she's just like living her life. And I feel like sometimes we have those pressures of like, oh my gosh, I'm getting older, I'm getting older. No, cherish those moments because you never know the next day if you're going to meet your significant other.
100%. And like, also it's like what your mom said, we're all doing our homework. So now when you are older, like I honestly think like when I meet my person or whatever you want to call it, like person I end up with, like I feel like I'll marry them in like 1 year.
I fully agree with that. No, I fully agree with that. To actually
like,
go on this.
What else do we need to do? Keep going out to freaking dinner to like decide if we are really compatible? No, you'll know. Like you just will figure it out, and then it's like, okay, cool. Then I'm probably gonna get married sooner than all my friends that have been like with their boyfriends since high school.
I completely agree with you, and I'm not trying to be weird, but that's what happened when I met my boyfriend. I was the most single person on the planet.
I remember you were like, I met this guy, and you were like, I don't want to. You're like, do I want a boyfriend right now?
And I was terrified.
Yeah,
and he like asked me to be his girlfriend, and I was like, no, I'm not being your girlfriend till 2021. I told him that.
Oh my God.
Like, who the hell do you think you are, Katie? And then literally the next week, I was like, okay, fine, I'll date you, because I was just living my life and so fully happy. And I think that's like the best part of when I met him. It was all timing. And I think everything's timing because I was fully over my ex. Like, you can't go on to the next person unless you're fully over the last.
100%. Yeah. And I fully agree with that.
Do you rebound, chick? No, I'm kidding.
Do I what?
Because you're talking about rebounds. And I'm like, do you though? I'm kidding.
Am I? Am I over here?
Okay, going back to your insane stories though. You said you tell
let me give
you
a few. Or no, not a few. I'm not going to go on. Don't worry. I know
So
I'm
what's your
aware of
trouser?
everyone's attention spans. And I know there's let me take a sip of this.
Take a sip of your gimbal.
Take a sip of your gimbal.
It's like Game of Thrones. That shows you where I am. So good. All right. Craziest story.
So, oh God. Okay, this one's the weirdest for sure. I was at dinner with a couple friends and I was wearing this like really bright green colored blazer. And this guy comes up to me, who's super cute, and he's like, hey, love the color of your blazer, yada yada, like chatting. And it was like, this was like COVID time. So like nothing, it was like restaurants were open outdoors, but nothing else is open. So he comes up and he's like, hey, like chatting with us, like kind of like me and him are, chatting, flirting. Obviously he comes up to my table at dinner and he's like, I'm having some friends over at my house after dinner. If you girls want to come, I know it's weird, but like, obviously we can't go to a bar. Like, so come over if you want. And we're like, okay, like I understand that he invited us. Like, we're not going to go to this random dude's house. But anyway, I get his number. He's like, yeah, I'll give you my number, yada, yada. We're like, we're being super flirty. He leaves. I text him the next day and I'm like, hey, like, sorry, we didn't end up going out, but like, it was nice to meet you. And I'm like, I got a guy's number. I'm like stoked. I'm like,
well, also you're very socially aware. Like you're not stupid if a guy's hitting on you.
No.
Let's be real.
Yes, I was like, and I also was not going out that night to like get a guy's number. Like he fully approached me and was like being really flirty. Right. And he was with a group of guys that we did not see. Okay, like they were waiting for the table. They went off, and the guy stayed, and we didn't see any of his friends. So the next day, I text him. I'm like, nice to meet you, whatever. And he's like, nice to meet you too. I'd love to set you up with my friend that I was with last night. He thought you were really pretty.
And how did your friend see me, and why didn't he come up to me?
That's what I said. I said, oh, that's nice, but why wouldn't your friend approach me if he thought I was pretty? I give you my phone number because you came up and talked to me. So then if you don't think that's weird enough, then the guy goes, oh, okay, well, I'll take you out.
What?
I swear to God. And he's like, do you want to go on my boat?
What? This is too
much. I'm like,
much.
are you going to murder me?
Dude, this guy sounds all over the place.
All over the place. And then proceeds to like follow me on Instagram and stuff was just so crazy. I'm like, what planet do we live on? And like, that's a normal occurrence for me. I also had a guy ask me out that had a full-blown girlfriend. Two guys that have asked me out that had full-blown girlfriends. Like, straight up, like, I don't even have to creep you. I just click on your Instagram and you tagged her.
And it's like, happy 6-year anniversary. And you're
No.
what the hell are you talking about?
It happened to me where the guy, literally, I was at coffee. I had met, he frequented the coffee shop that I frequented. And one day I'm sitting there having coffee. I'd met the guy and it's like 10:30 in the morning. And he starts ordering appetizers and like cocktails to our community table. This is at Rose Cafe. You know how you can like,
what?
swear to God, like it's a place where it's like breakfast, but they also have like cocktails. So I think it was maybe like 11. And he's like, do you want a drink? Want me to buy you a drink? I'm like on my laptop. Working. And I'm like, no, I'm good. He's like, well, I'm going to order us an app to share. And I'm like, dude, I'm answering emails. I have a Zoom call in 5 minutes. Like, what are you doing? And then gives me his number, asks me out. So I click on his Instagram, literally like took me 3 seconds to find his girlfriend who had posted 3 hours ago saying, I'm so happy that like you're my soulmate, da da da.
No, 3 hours ago? You just gave me chills all over my body.
I swear to God. I'm just like, who do these people think they are?
Also, why are guys so stupid? It is not rocket science to find out that you have a girlfriend. Also, there's such thing as tagged photos. Like, it is 2 clicks away.
It's so bad.
It's not even
so
stalking.
bad.
It's literally 2 clicks away.
I know.
I don't understand that. And like, as someone who's been cheated on before, I'll never understand that. Just break up with your girlfriend if you're unhappy.
Her.
Did you really?
No, I didn't, but I almost did.
That's the thing. Would you actually ever, if you didn't know that you hooked up with a guy and he has a girlfriend, but you did not know, because we are not those type of girls.
Oh my
We're
God.
girls.
Absolutely
I would
not.
never in my entire life hook up with a guy who has a girlfriend knowingly.
Absolutely not.
It's drunk night, you hook up with a guy.
Okay.
You look the next day on his Instagram.
Has a girlfriend.
And he has a girlfriend. Do you message her?
Ooh. I think I would message him and be like, hey, like, you have a girlfriend, like, what the fuck? And see what he says. And depending on his reaction, I don't know. I would want a girl to tell me.
So I found out my ex cheated on me because a girl told me. And that's the only way I found out. And so I actually love when girls are telling me, but the girlfriend has to be understanding, and then a lot of the
girlfriend
times
could
hate you and stay with the guy. But also, who cares? But at the same time, like, not trying to be like, now we're personalities, but we are personalities. And so if you reached out and you DM'd a girl, she would tell all her friends, F Broccyourbody. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of hard. It really puts you in like a weird position.
I would like message her from a burner.
That's a great idea, though.
You'd be like, hey.
That's a really, really good idea. I feel like, oh man, I just don't understand why guys cheat. And if you do, just like break up with the person.
I know.
Have you ever been cheated on?
No, I've never been broken up with either.
Carissa, you never had your heart broken.
No.
It's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing, because the next person you probably date might be the one.
I hope so, or he's gonna break up with me and I'm gonna literally
Stop.
implode.
No, you're not.
But no, I feel like I've had like little tastes of it. Like, I've definitely been like ghosted before. Like, in my dating experience, like I've had some for sure like rough patches where it's been like, I'm like, okay, this is like equals a breakup for sure.
Like you liked a guy and then he just didn't like reciprocate it back. That hurts. That really freaking hurts, because you see potential there.
And it's worse because you don't know them yet. Like, for example, I've been like, if I was talking to a guy for a month, okay? He's like, stops talking to me. I can think back about all of the weird icks like that he's done. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, well, he did this and he did this. There's like, for example, like a guy that like I've met like twice, that like I made up a fake scenario of our lives in my head. He's he's Prince Charming because I don't know anything about him.
Exactly. You don't know any of his red flags yet.
No.
So you hold him to the highest standard.
Exactly.
And once you get that ick, going back to that, it cannot go away. I saw this the other day. It was a question online. I saw, like, I think it was on TikTok. Once you get that ick, do you think there's any coming back from it? And I say absolutely not.
I agree.
You agree? Like, you cannot come back from that ick.
It depends on how big the ick is.
Ugh, I think any type of ick is bad, right?
Yeah.
It's bad. It's really bad. Come on. You're not going to date a guy that you have an ick for in any sense.
You're right. You're 100% right. But sometimes there's like little icks where it's like one time I was at dinner with a guy and he like smacked with his mouth open, but just once. Like, not throughout the whole dinner, but it was like 2 bites, and I was like, ooh. But now that we're not dating, I think about that all the time. But if we were still together, it would be erased from my memory.
That's hilarious.
But you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. It could.
Like, we choose what to remember.
100% agree. So right now in the last year, obviously it's been harder to date and stuff.
Yes.
So what's your advice for someone who is looking to date right now, but can't meet someone at a bar?
Okay, my
Dating apps.
best advice, I don't love the dating apps. They're not really for me. I think that, like, I have a couple of friends that love them and it totally works out for them. So I would say definitely give it a shot. I know it works for a lot of people, but me personally, like, I've kind of just come to the fact, like, terms with, like, being like, I'm not going to date until I'm, like, vaccinated.
Yeah,
Because
true.
then it's going to be insane. Everyone's going to be going wild, and it's gonna.
Oh
and I don't want to be in a
God, yeah.
relationship when the world opens back up.
I'm gonna have to like tell my boyfriend, hey, can we take a break for a few months?
Hey, so let's take a 3-month break. How do
I
you
gotta
feel
go to the
about
clubs
that?
again.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to my Katie South and be a club rat at frickin' Bootsie's on Fridays.
But seriously,
Disgusting. Who was I?
I
But I'm
don't
excited
know.
for that.
But like, we're going to the clubs.
I know.
I'm gonna
100%.
go into a club for 5 minutes and be like, get me the hell out of here.
Have you tried dating apps though?
Yes, I've been on one dating app date.
Oh, you've been on a date from a dating app.
One.
Oh, horrible?
No.
Oh, okay. So why don't you do it again?
I had a really hard time being with a stranger. Like, being like, I don't know any of your friends. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about you. Like, I know obviously, like, you get to know somebody and whatever. It wasn't necessarily him. I just, like, I don't know.
I
I
agree
don't
with that.
think I'm at the point right now where I need dating apps. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to date.
I love that.
I'm not trying to, like,
I love
be in
that.
a relationship. So I'm like, maybe they're for me one day. But, like, right now, I'm like, I feel like a lot of people on the dating apps they're either wanting a girlfriend or
Totally.
they're wanting, like, a one-night stand. And I'm not really down for either of those
Like, you're not
things.
actively pursuing, I want a boyfriend, I want a boyfriend.
No.
If it comes to you, sure, you'll explore it. But at the same
For sure.
time, you're very, very happily single.
Yes.
It's
And
a great place to be.
Oh, it's
Holy
great.
shit, that's the best place to ever be when you don't have a care in the goddamn world.
Oh no! Like I have like Taylor Swift dance parties in my kitchen every single
So amazing.
night, and it's the best thing ever. And I'm like, as much as I'm like, oh, it would be nice to like have someone to watch a movie with at night. I mean, nothing will beat that. Like
No.
right now for me, like it's pretty great. Like
I love that.
I'm really happy with it. So I think that if we're so close to the end of the pandemic right now, I feel like just wait it out. And if you really want to meet someone and it's like, you know, top of mind, try the dating apps. But if they're not for you, don't beat yourself up about it because I don't think they're for me. Like I don't think that
For sure.
that's how I'm really gonna find my person. It might be, but I'm like, we're so close. Wait a couple months.
I agree.
People are gonna be freaking in a frenzy.
Animals.
Like, just give it a couple months.
I also feel like you're the type of person who, take this the right way, like puts herself out there. Like you're not sitting home on your
Yes.
couch on a Saturday night. You are
Yes.
actively doing something with your girlfriends. You're a really good friend. You go out to dinners. You
Yeah.
meet friends of friends, and that's how you're probably gonna like, end
For
up dating
sure.
someone. And so you do have to put in the effort to have friends and go out and everything
Agreed.
like that.
Someone else asked like how to make friends, and I get that question a lot.
Is it me? I told Chris last week, thank you for being my friend. I don't have many.
No, we're like at
I'm
lunch, and she's
kidding.
like, "Yeah, I don't really have any friends in LA," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
And Chris is like, what about me?
Like, yeah, I don't exist. We're gonna cut all this out. This is boring.
How do you meet
Um,
friends?
I'm also like social butterfly. Like I am so social. Like, I love hanging out with people. I love meeting new friends. I just think there's so much to learn from people. And I think that like you have to go into like, if you are in the position, a lot of people are like looking to meet new friends. I think you kind of have to look at it same, like kind of circling back to like when we were talking about Instagram, like instead of looking at it like, what can I gain from this? Like, what can I give to this person? You know what I mean? Like,
Love that.
how can I like be a good friend to this person? Like you have to
Oh.
look at it more of like,
With an open hand.
yeah, like, you know, oh, I like meet Katie. Katie needs a lot of help.
No.
Katie needs me. I'm just kidding.
I am Katie's therapist.
But like, no, I feel like it's a good way to look into a friendship, not like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with Katie because
She's gonna
I get
give
to
me
be on
X,
her
Y, and Z.
show, or,
Exactly.
like, I get to like do this. Like, I'm like, okay, like how can I be a good friend to her, and you know that kind of thing.
Totally. And I think it's hard for me to say this because I don't really want to step on anyone's toes, but Carissa is one of the only, let's say, in quotes, bloggers that I actually get along with in real life. And I think a lot of the times in our industry, people are friends with people for certain reasons.
For sure.
And there's a lot of like weird dynamics in our industry, and I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just great to actually be friends with someone in the same space, but beyond Instagram.
For sure.
You know, that's hard. And I don't think people really realize that when they see people in all people's Instagrams. A lot of those things are not real life.
Stain on my shirt? Oh my God. Do I? Sorry.
It's just like a little bit of a shadow, but I don't think it's a stain.
Okay. Sorry.
Anyways, that's all I really had to say on that. Anyways,
You're like going into
We'll
a
cut
deep
that.
conversation.
Do I post on my shirt? Okay. No, but I do think, yes. Anyways, we're going to pivot now and very different, but we are entering the segment called Mood Boosting Mantras. I asked all my guests what their favorite mantra is that they tell themselves or they can tell other people to help inspire them. It could be 2 different quotes, or it can be your own quote, or something that you told yourself to get to where you are today.
This is something that you need to send the night before because this is something that I need.
Putting you on the spot.
You need to send these types of questions to my team beforehand for them to review.
Hannah?
That's really hard. Okay, I actually have one.
Okay.
So this is just a saying that I think relates to just everything in life, and it's fake it till you make it. And
Love that.
I mean, I started my career, I knew how to cook, but I wasn't a chef and I wasn't an Instagram blogger extraordinaire. I didn't know anything about social media. And I just kind of like went into it and pretended like I knew what I was talking about. I still to this day do that. Like, you kind of just have to like go into everything like you're the shit and you know exactly what you're talking about when it comes to dating, when it comes to career, when it comes to friendships. You kind of just have to like literally fake it till you make it. Just
confidence.
Like, yeah.
It's all confidence.
All
and it's all about how you walk in the room. We talked about that with my mom last week. And so I completely agree with this. Okay, next question. I love this. And I also love how all your answers are very unconventional. Like usually people have like very cliche answers, but yours are so real. Just love to toot your horn and gas you up.
I know, I'm like walking out of the studio that I'm walking on sunshine. I'm going to do like a heel click.
Okay, my next segment is No Filter. And my question for you, so basically it's just like to get real and it's different for every single guest that I have. For you, I'm letting you hit it for free. For you, why do I have TikTok quotes in the back of my brain? You're 27, Katie.
I'm 29.
Anyways, for you, my question is your worst dating experience ever. It could be a date. It could be a thing. Like we touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, my worst dating experience.
Or your worst
ever.
date.
Okay, so this is a bad question for girls that live in LA because guys don't really ask girls out on proper dates.
Ever.
So
Ever.
The amount of like actually proper dates I've been on are slim. But okay, the worst thing that has ever happened to me on a date was a guy told me that I wasn't allowed to order the most expensive thing on the menu.
And you're like, check please. Absolutely not. I'll have the lobster special.
It was like some truffle thing. And he's like, oh yeah. Like, he's like, let's just get whatever. Like, obviously not that. And I was like, what if I wanted that?
Oh my gosh. One time I went on a date and the guy didn't put his card down and I had to pay for it.
What?
I was so upset about this date because all he did for 3 hours
Well, I guess
was
he
talking.
paid for it. So at least.
No, he didn't pay for it.
I'm saying at least my guy paid for
Oh,
it.
yeah. Like, I literally was sitting there for like 20 minutes as the check was there. It was the most horrible date ever. And I was just finally like, okay, fine. At least just split it. Put my check down so maybe he gets a cue, like, let's leave. And he goes, I put my card down. He goes, oh, thanks. And I was like, what? By the way, he
Katie, no,
is a star of a Netflix show. So he has money. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm actually crying.
Yeah. Hilarious. Anyways, I think that
You're like, shit, what just happened?
it was terrible. Okay, well, thank you so much, Carissa.
That was fun.
I really appreciate you, and you are my second ever guest, so thank you for
Wait, I
coming
thought I
to
was the
Austin.
first.
Well, you technically are the first because my mom is like my mom.
You
know?
honestly count.
I came out of her.
Okay, so I'm kind of the first.
Yeah, you're basically the first. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks
and
for having me.
Make sure to tune in next week. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Austin AF. And then also, if you guys are right here on podcast, make sure to subscribe to everything that you guys listen on podcasts for. So that can be Spotify, Apple Music, or podcasts in general, whatever the fuck people listen on podcasts on. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.